With explosives. What else did you figure? But if the boats belong to the enemy's QRF, their response may be a
Two boats,
little
northwest.
All stations, fire in the hole, fire in the hole, fire in the hole.
No, they're not.
delayed. Alright, let's move. Cover where we are and who we're fighting later, but for now, you need to know that we're tasked with disabling a power station. This power station, to be precise. Now, this power station is a little annoying to assault because of how close it is to this naval base and this airfield. Take a wild guess as to why you think it's our target. So, because of the surrounding enemies, we're basically left with just one clear option for our infill: a dive. With a helocast, because those are cool. So, maybe we need to do stationary hovers going forward. Near decapitations aside, we can now start our infill, which looks like this. The assault force splits into two dive teams. Legion 6, led by yours truly, will swim into the harbor of the naval base and plant explosives on the boats that they're probably going to use as a QRF. We'll come back to those. The other team, Legion 1, which is led by Master Sergeant Faulkner, will make direct to a landing zone just off the southern wall of our power station. This will let them do some ground recon of the objective before the other team gets there. Oh, this is also probably a good time to mention that I had no idea who was going to be defending the power station. Let me explain. We're currently deployed to the Philippines, fighting a bog-standard rebel group that has taken over an island. They've recently been backed by a well-funded Chinese PMC called Frontier Services Group, which has been providing them with training and equipment. Now, hopefully you can understand why I was a little worried not knowing who was occupying these compounds. Crappy rebels with no NVGs? Turkey shoot. A well-trained PMC with NVGs, protracted gunfight, at least. So you can imagine my excitement when I got this call from the recon team. 10 for 6.
Looks like this place is grunts only. We can't see any MVGs on these dudes, not even on the sniper on top of the big tower.
Happy days. Fantastic. So by this point, we'd linked up with Legion 1 and we're ready to assault this completely unaware rebel compound. Nothing could go wrong at this point, right? We make our initial breach using a wall charge, and Legion 1 drops the snipers at the same time. I get to deal with a well-designed hitbox, and by this point we're ready to make entry into the first building. We use a flashbang for our breach and have no trouble with the 3 contacts that are inside. Legion 1 climbs up the outside to the roof and starts dropping contacts and taking out lights to solidify our night advantage. We need to keep moving from here, but we're slowed down a little as I'm trying to get a feel for the volume of contact that we're taking. This turns out to give the naval QRF enough time to start heading towards us. Fortunately, after a quick warning from our overwatch, the boats are very rapidly disassembled thanks to our earlier demolition work. Contact so far has been surprisingly minimal, but we've wasted enough time in this building and it's time to move on. I lead my team deeper into the compound under cover of Legion 1. We blow a hole in the secondary breach point and make short work of the few contacts that are on the other side. Like, look at this guy. He tries to put up a fight, but just gets schwacked as soon as he's even figured out where we are. And we've made it to the transformers, with no casualties and very light contact. I'm still a little worried with how light this contact has been, but this is one of the first offensive actions we've taken against them, so they might just be poorly prepared. One satchel charge primed and we return to Legion 1, only taking sporadic fire in the process. And then, all stations, be advised. Control det, control det, control det. Boom. Exactly to plan, the airfield loses power, which opens the door for the Philippine Air Force to start laying down some hate. Now remember the paramilitary company I mentioned earlier. One of their helicopters pops up out of the airfield and tries to make a run for it. Remember them. They're going to be important in a moment. Meanwhile, the ground QRF has finally arrived, but is having trouble finding us because of how dark we've made it. We call in our helo extract, and just like that, we're RTB. That's a buttery smooth operation if I've ever seen one. But it's only halfway over, because once we get back to base, we're surprised with a follow-on objective for a target of opportunity. Also, if you've enjoyed the video so far, consider leaving a like, and leave some feedback for me in the comments. I make these videos for fun, but I'd love to improve. As it turns out, that fleeing PMC helicopter took enough fire from the Philippine Air Force that it was forced to make an emergency landing a little ways to the northwest of where we just were. We need intelligence about the FSG, so capturing the pilots alive would be a major help to our operations in the region. So, needless to say, we dump our dive gear, grab some extra mags, and load up into a helicopter as quickly as we can. In flight, we solidify our plan. The enemy is holed up in a nearby hospital, presumably awaiting extraction from a larger force that we don't want to meet. There's a hill that's pretty close to the town, and that'll give us a good supporting position for our designated marksmen and our heavier weapons. We start taking sporadic fire on the insert, and we're told that there are civilians present, but that they should be sheltering in place. So just to be safe, the door gunner is instructed to limit fire outside of the town. After a cool hot LZ, we shift our position north and get to work on prepping an assault. Unfortunately, while I'm distracted getting our drone up for situational awareness, we're rolled up on by a technical to our rear. The rest of the team turns to engage, whipping out our Carl Gustav just in case it gets hairy at such close a range. But happily, the team drops the driver and gunner with small arms, and now we have an intact 50 cal at our disposal if we decide we need it. Sweet. I have some minor difficulty trying to sort out an assault force given the way our supporting weapons like the Gustav, a Stinger, and a DMR are situated. I end up leaving my team chief on the hill along with our JTAC, who can use the drone to give me updates on the fly or call in close air support as needed. I take my machine gunner from Legion 6, Faulkner, Legion 1's element leader, and the Gustav gunner as our assaulting force. It's definitely smaller than I'd like, but thermals from the drone are only showing minimal contact, and Faulkner is one of the best assaulters we have. I figure that between the two of us, plus some backup, we should hopefully be fine. So I lead the charge down the hill, and Hughes, our machine gunner, gets right to work tipping the violence of action in our favor as we start to get engaged from the hospital. We arrive at the exterior wall and take some fire from a contact on the stairs. It's really important that we maintain violence of action at this stage because of our small numbers. So I chuck a flashbang into the outside stairwell and lead the charge up to deal with the contact. I find that he's already dead, but our problems are just starting. See, this hospital is a very difficult structure to clear properly with just 4 guys. There's the stairwell that we're on, which leads up to the roof, which we will definitely have to clear. There's also a door that leads into the ground floor right at the base of the stairs that we're on. So while I'm continuing to assault up the stairs, I'm going back and forth in my mind as I try and figure out how I want to approach clearing this building. Eventually, by the time I reach the top of the stairs, the decision has effectively been made for me, and I tell the other 2 men to hold security at the base while Faulkner and I clear the roof. That'll have to do for now. Oh, hi, that's one of the pilots. Eager to take him alive, I chuck a flash around the corner and then eat around to the plate as I effectively tackle the guy to the ground to restrain him. Faulkner automatically pushes past me and provides security as I shift him into cover behind the stairwell, telling Hughes to come grab him. I rejoin Faulkner on the roof, check my mag while he engages someone past us, and then together we move forward, clearing out the rest of the rooftop. At the end of the roof, we take some pot shots from the crashed helicopter, but with our JTAC giving quick calls from the UAV, we're able to deal with the contacts no problem. But now we have 1 pilot in custody, the other still on the loose, and the entire ground floor to clear. We shift the pilot into cover while we wait for our 4th man to link up. Now, I have all 4 of my assaulters present, we stack on the bottom door, and right as we're about to breach, threat. Oh, jeez, Obi. Somehow, and unbeknownst to me, we picked up a 5th assaulter somewhere along the line. And the only reason he doesn't have a 5.56 shaped hole in his head is good PID. This does highlight a great training point in that the second person in the stack wasn't focused on exterior security before the breach. So if that actually had been a bad guy rounding the corner, we probably would have taken a casualty since I was the only one who was able to respond in time and I had to shift to a very sketchy position that is just asking for a blue on blue. So we make entry and start clearing the ground floor. You know what the funniest part of that is? We cleared the entire floor, found everyone dead, and only found out after the op that the other 2 assaulters we were waiting for had already cleared it themselves. Oh well, that's what you get when you create an assault force as haphazardly as I did on this mission. Lesson learned, getting comms fully squared away beforehand is an absolute must. Oh hey look, the other pilot. I chuck another flashbang even though it doesn't do much and then run him down while he's lying in the dirt for some reason. And I've somehow grabbed both of them as we're now 2 for 2 pilots in custody. Sweet. Let's leave. As we're starting to work our way back with the pilot, our Overwatch relays this.
Shit ton of dudes north of the crash site coming at us.
Okay, let's double time it then. During all of this, we're trying to coordinate a helicopter exfil. They've been on and off station due to various reasons and are back now to help blow up the platoon of reinforcements, but they're back in a close air support bird, not an extraction one. So unfortunately, we've been on the X for way too long, and with that force moving on us, we've got to make space, regardless of if we have helicopters or not. So we pick up and we start walking south. All I'm trying to do at this point is buy time until we can get the helos in to pick us up.
Hey, we got tentacles coming from the southeast.
Crap. Okay, defensive positions, let's get ready to fight.
Come right on us, right on us, right on us.
Turns out the direction call was totally wrong, and the technical comes from the initial wave of reinforcements to our north. We frantically try to adjust to our exposed side when something pretty cool happens. This is Gwynne. Gwynne has been a part of the team for nearly 4 years now, and he just so happens to be a savant with the Carl Gustav. He's also graciously lent me his footage from this operation, so it's through his eyes that you've been seeing some of the other shots. So this technical rolls up on an exposed side where it could very easily mow down half the team in a single burst. Gwynne is busy digging a trench, so he has very little time to respond. He gives a very curt but very clear command to the people behind him.
Get out of the way.
Then, without ever actually receiving a range for the target, in a matter of 3 seconds, he finds the technical, which is obscured behind reeds, eyeballs the distance, and fires a rocket. That rocket only misses by like a meter or two downslope, and unbeknownst to us, actually knocks out both guys in the vehicle. I cannot overstate how freaking impressive that sequence of events is. And as thanks for his impressive actions, Gwynne gets dipshit McGee behind him saying this.
You missed and you deafed me, cunt.
So what does Gwynne do? He doesn't retort, he doesn't get angry. He simply loads another rocket, still doesn't bother ranging the target, and then blows the technical to kingdom come. What a legend. We pop smoke to cover our exit as the bird lands, and we're out. And that's just the start of the deployment. The missions continue in the upcoming weeks, so if you enjoyed this one, consider subscribing so you don't miss what happens next. If you want to be a part of the action, you can put in an application on our website at 3dmrbru.com. And I'd really love to improve the quality of these videos, so please leave any feedback that you have for me in the comments. And finally, I hope you make the rest of your day a great one, and thank you so much for watching.
Rip. Oh, damn it.